when you are ready.
Okay,
I
good
ask
morning. Thank
everybody
you.
who is not speaking to please mute. Can everybody see my screen?
Hey, Margillette, this is
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes, Jeff.
Not the Jeff Smith, but Jeff Conley.
Hi, Jeff.
I'll play the role of Jeff Smith
Okay,
very
wonderful.
quickly before Michelle gets started. Welcome
Wonderful.
everyone to this central or our Virginia Ring meeting. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I was elated when Margillette told me how many folks were going to be on the call. And we were on a call this morning for our annual meeting in Proform that I hope each of you will be able to join. And we extended a challenge to other rings to get as many attendees in their ring meetings as what we were anticipating seeing here today at the Virginia Ring. Dominique and her team are doing a phenomenal job in the planning as well with other volunteers for annual meeting in Proform. Look forward to seeing you all there. I know Dominique is on the line. I don't want to overstep, so certainly if she has something to say, we would want to do that. But I do want to thank Michelle Clatterbuck, who is about to do her presentation on behalf of Centera. For those of you who do not know Michelle, we're excited that she is very recently been appointed to our board of directors. So I'm so excited that someone who has not even gotten to their first board meeting with us is already in the trenches helping us. And so that's exactly what I would expect from our CVMSDC board members. And I just want to thank you, Michelle, for setting the standard and setting the bar pretty high.
Oh, well, thank you.
And Jeff, this is Dominique. Thank you for those words. I will do what you said. I am driving, so I'm going to defer to you today, Jeff. But I appreciate everybody being on. And kudos to this ring for setting a record for attendance today. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. And Jeff Smith is now on the line. Jeff?
Thanks, Margillette. And Jeff, obviously, thanks for filling the gap. Regrettably, my director stepped in, so I had to adhere to that. But obviously, we thank Michelle for willingness to participate and help us in this ring event today. And I'm not going to belabor this. So, Michelle, if you're ready, please go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me today, and thank you for letting me join as part of the board. We're very excited to be here today. Who would have thought a year ago when we attended the last meeting? I think we had just joined the Virginia Ring. So very excited to be here today. Do you want to go ahead and click next, please? So our supplier diversity journey really just started around the end of 2017. It actually began as more of a committee, and I was the chair of the committee, and then that's kind of how I've moved into this role as far as being on the board and making the connections here in supply chain. One of the other things we did in 2017 and 18 was create an online supplier registration portal. It's still kind of a manual process for us at this point, but as you can see, we are moving forward, and we are going to be, we invested in a software company that's going to help us track that. In 2019 and 20, we have been a part of Vizient, but we've started to engage them on their supplier diversity program. They have a very robust program that's going to help us measure Tier 1 and Tier 2. They are actually the group that actually helped us find Supplier Gateway, which is going to be our software that we use to track our spend. We also joined key diversity organizations such as you guys and Weenbeck, and I have a few more on here that I'll show on the next slide. And then in 2021 and beyond, the goal is our senior leadership has formed an executive council, and that's going to be, we have a new VP that is starting next week, and she will be heading that council. It has other leaders from our division, from Centera, that are going to work together to find goals for the organization that takes diversity and inclusion all across the system. We also want to start embedding a diversity focus in our RFPs and how we solicit for even construction with prime and subcontractors. We don't want this to be a transactional type relationship. We want it to be purposeful. We want it to be a strategic partnership. And the other piece that we're going to be focusing on is education for our suppliers, and also internally. I didn't add that on there, but that is something that's going to be important as we move forward. Next slide, please. I wanted to include this slide for you guys. This I kind of pulled from Dana Beckton. She's our Chief Diversity Officer for Centerra. And so I thought it was important that, yes, I represent supply chain, but Centerra as a whole, we have a health equity piece, and then we have the diversity inclusion in our HR. And so I wanted to include this slide for you guys today just to kind of see how you can see how Centerra is involved in the community with our partnerships, in our workplace, what we're trying to set up there, and then what our plan is for the future. One success story I could tell you here is in our workplace, down in the bottom left-hand corner, it says 12 hospitals diversity councils. One success story there is I had a hospital system reach out to me. They have a gift shop program, and they want to start looking at what are they buying and what are opportunities for our diverse suppliers in that area. So that is one thing that we are going to be working on with that hospital. So I was excited about that. So I just wanted to include this for you guys today so that you can see that as a whole, Centerra is really taking this seriously and investing in our diversity and inclusion. Next slide. And then from a supplier diversity focus here in supply chain, again, we have formed that Diversity Executive Council. We joined those key diversity organizations. We're partnering with our Vizient GPO. We're starting to kind of look at what that tier 1 and tier opportunities look like. We're going to start embedding the goals for the organization, education and training, again, for our internal and external customers. And I'm glad to say we actually are also, Centerra has invested in a new ERP system called Workday. And so we're trying to figure out how that will incorporate into our tracking spend with Supplier Gateway and how that's going to make it more user-friendly for our end users. I think for Centerra, a lot of times because we've grown so fast, we've worked in silos at each organization. And so now we have an opportunity with this new ERP system to do the training and start embedding how we're going to meet these goals. I put some of these clip arts on here of the vendors that we have done some business with over the past year. I'm really excited about Kerma. We are partnering with them to try to see where some business opportunities are because they are in our backyard. They are in Suffolk, Virginia. So very excited to be working on that with Joe. He's wonderful. London Bridge Trading Company is another diverse vendor we have worked with, and they actually helped us during COVID with making face masks. WM Jordan, as we all know, is a large construction company, and of course they have opportunities with subcontractors. Regulus Global is a veteran-owned business that we worked with, and we secured, I think it was close to $30 million in PPE supplies that they were able to bring to us for our needs through the pandemic. And then, of course, Owens & Minor. They are that's our distributor, and they have a very robust supplier diversity program. So I look forward to working with them because they are the ones that put the connections with Kerma. And so Kerma and Owens & Minor have a great partnership, so I look forward to working with them in the future. Next slide, please. Just to kind of tell you where we are now, current state, again, it's a very manual process for us on our end. We have the CenterraSupplyChain.com website. If you click on Supplier Connection, it will kind of tell you about how to register as a vendor with Centerra, and what that does is that sends your information to a mailbox that we monitor. It's vendors@centerra.com. One of the things that we're trying to work through is, again, historically we've kind of worked in silos. So supply chain dealt a lot with distribution, products and services within the hospital. And so we're trying to bring in, how do we make that connection with the IT folks or people in HR or facilities, because there's a lot of missed opportunities in those areas as well. So if you email that inbox, just know that we are working on the back end to kind of figure out who that best contact would be, and kind of trying to build our database. Our next steps, which is really where we are right now, is moving towards the online platform Supplier Gateway, which is a minority-owned business that we were connected through with Vizient. And once we have the training from that, we will start utilizing that platform to have vendors register and start tracking this in. And also, I think we have the opportunity to post opportunities as well. We look forward to integrating Supplier Gateway to our new ERP system and tracking what that approval flow looks like and how do we ensure that we are engaging with our diverse suppliers. And then, you know, again, we want to continue to engage and partner with our supplier diversity organizations, such as being on the board. And so really looking forward to the community engagement as well. I think Centera has done very well with that through COVID. And then, of course, we want to develop the best practices, and then in the future, we want to demonstrate the best practices and actually kind of be the model for other organizations. Next slide, please. And that's all I had. This was a clip art that Dana Beckton had for one of her presentations, and I really liked it because it's the House of Responsible Sourcing, and it kind of just it shows you how it all ties in together with your community, the communities that you serve, and how to help those vendors that are in your community, all to be overall responsible sourcing individuals. So. And that's all I had. I think I talked way too fast, but but any questions?
Michelle, thank you. I'm going to jump in here as well. This is Jeff Smith. Obviously, thank you for the presentation. I'm confident we have a myriad of questions that the MBEs would like to ask you. What I would ask is that maybe if we could go through the first 5 of the questions, Margolette. And what we'd like to do, I talked to Michelle this morning, we will put the links that she mentioned on slide 5 on our website. And if there are additional questions, we will post them on our website as well at CVMSDC, if everybody's in agreement with that.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Okay. I do not see any questions in the chat at this time. If you have any questions for Michelle Clatterbuck, please place them in the chat and I will be happy to read them out so that she can answer any questions that you have. Michelle, is it also possible to put your contact information in the chat for those who are on the call in case they have questions later?
Absolutely. Yes, I can go do that now.
Okay, so I have one question. Is there a vaccination process for all vendors being vetted?
I'm sorry, Marjorie, I couldn't hear you.
I have a person who's they said they're going through the vendor process and they want to know, is there a vaccination process for all vendors being vetted?
Oh, vaccination. Oh, like for COVID vaccines?
Yes.
So I believe they are allowing, so we are not required as an employee to have the COVID vaccine. It's highly encouraged. What I can do is definitely go to our COVID task force and ask them. I know we did open up some vendor meetings. It's still a little restricted, but I'm more than happy to go to the COVID task force and ask that question.
Thank you. And where would our minority businesses go for potential opportunities with Centera?
So right now we would just go to our website and just to register at this point, and then we're keeping it in a database. Our goal is with the new Supplier Gateway software that will open that opportunity up for you guys to be able to go out there and see what we're working on and how to provide a quote.
Thank you. Are there any plans to expand into the Raleigh area?
So I'm not sure about the Raleigh area, but I don't know if you guys have heard in the news, but we have announced a merge with Cone Health, which is on the western part of North Carolina. We're still separate entities at this point, so we're not sure. We're just waiting for the final announcement that we have merged, and they are now that we're all now part of the health system.
Now, I'm getting questions about particular industries. They want to know, are there ever opportunities for consultants, project managers, and facility maintenance and housekeeping?
So those are great questions. I know that we do have staff. We do have a staffing agency we have a contract with, and I think the goal is that when we receive these inquiries, that we can connect you with our temporary staffing agency. That is the other piece that we're trying to put together where, like I was saying, we're very siloed, and so our goal is to kind of bring everyone together so that our facilities people are at the table and we can say, hey, these are some potential vendors in your community that can help you with a lot of routine purchases and things that you're purchasing.
Thank you so much for that. Now, if someone's interested in providing their capability review of their business to marketing, how would they arrange that?
So I would definitely go to the Centera, the supply chain website, and register. And then what that does is that sends your information to the vendors@centera.com mailbox. And then if you want to follow up with an email and just attach that into the email, that's fine. And we can forward that over to marketing. Thank
you. And Jeff Smith, do we have more time for more questions? I do have some more. They are coming in.
Yeah, Margaret, the only thing I was trying to manage is that Michelle wouldn't have an opportunity to respond and not necessarily do it on the fly as we're doing it. Maybe 2 or 3 more, and then maybe we could arrange to have them placed on our website, if that's okay with everyone.
And if you guys want to compile the questions and send it to me, yeah, I would be more than happy to respond, and then I can send it all back at once. That's fine too. And that way, because especially with the vaccination question, I definitely want to get that feedback from our COVID task force.
Thank you. I will do that, Michelle, and I will also, for the attendees, put a link in the chat so that you can reach out at another time should you have questions.
Okay.
All right.
Great idea, Margaret.
And I just saw a question from Dana. Good morning, Dana.
Had to take myself off mute. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here. Great job, Michelle. You are in good hands with Michelle. I had to come along just to be that backup support. But I did have a question and something for the MBEs to ponder that would actually help supply chain organizations like ourselves, is that we want to be able to track and tell the story about how our engagement with diverse suppliers impacts the community. So it would be interesting to understand and learn from MBEs, do you track, because of a contract, you were able to employ X amount of people from the community, because of a contract, the economic boost that you gave that community. That would be, for us, something that would be really helpful for us to be able to say, down the line, tell that story to say, we're not just doing this to check the box, we're doing it for that social economic impact and how it goes back to impacting the community.
Great, Dana, thank you. And I see a lot of great questions coming through the chat box. So I would be more than happy, and I would be very happy if you guys could send those to me, and then I can get the answers for you. And I think this would be a great opportunity to show our executive council, these are the questions that are being asked, and these are the things that we need to focus on, and how do we align our goals to those things? What are those processes going to be? And so that's I think that's going to be exciting, and that I'd love to get a list of these questions so that I can try to address these for you guys.
I will make
Margilette, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying I'll make sure she gets all the questions.
Perfect. Margilette, this is Jeff Conley. As we know, Dominique is traveling. She did send me a message to extend her thanks to you, Michelle, for a great presentation and your participation today. Dana, it's great to see that you have joined us. Excited to meet you virtually. And I'm really excited for the number of MBEs that are on the call. I won't call names because I could probably miss someone, but my neighbor, Wilma Kidd, is on the call. So it's great to see you, Wilma. I also wanted to say that I was made aware that Angela Wilkes was on our call, and we are so excited that Angela Wilkes is a part of us. And I, just take a personal moment to thank Angela. Angela was a part of the Owens and Minor team when I joined what was VMSDC back then, and she made a lot of inroads for our organization as it related to the healthcare industry. It was, in fact, Angela who led us to KERMA, Michelle, that you referenced in your presentation. And that great family and that great organization has been a legacy MBE of CVMSDC's and our predecessor organization for quite some time. So I know you're already aware of the great MBEs that CVMSDC has, but I use KERMA as one, and I certainly hope that over the next few months, years, however long you choose to be a part of our board and a part of our organization, that you will meet the great quality of MBE that we possess.
That's great. Thank you. And I'm excited to be here, guys. I'm really excited for this partnership and to represent Centerra on this board. And I look forward to working with Dana too. Like I said, it's really about, like Dana said, what impact do we have on the local economy? And I love making those connections. And I think that's what makes us successful.
Okay. Thank you so much. And again, I will make sure, Michelle, that you get all of those questions from the chat. I am going to be posting before the end of the meeting the link to get in touch with Michelle or those at Centerra should you have questions for our MBEs. Jeff, I'm sorry, next we're going to have Vincent Tucker with the MBE spotlights or information.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vincent Tucker, the MBE IC Chair for the Virginia Ring. And today we want to spotlight two companies. One, the D. Dans Group, which is a consulting firm. He's going to share some things with you briefly, a little bit about their capabilities and a short testimony. And I have Kipling Albright, which is our vice chair for the Ring Group, that he gave me last night some exciting news. And I told him if he wasn't able to make the call, I would certainly share that testimony. And I was going to celebrate with or without him because of the good news I received. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Dallas Dance with the D. Dans Group. Dallas.
Dallas, are you there? We did see your screen for a moment.
Are you there, Dallas?
I am here.
Margilette, we can swing back around with Dallas. I do have Kip on the line. Are you there, Kip?
I am here. Good morning.
All right, good morning. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kip Albright, owner of Best Employment Solutions. We specialize in staffing, payroll, and project management. I won't go through the whole 30-second elevator pitch, right? So basically, I wanted to just share with you all, during COVID, I'm pretty sure everybody has been impacted one way or another. And in 2020, everyone, I'm sure you guys heard that key word, that pivot. For our company, that meant figure out a way to do something different because, of course, in our industry, we are a face-to-face company. That's how we market. That's how we push for our business and growth. So basically, when we heard that word, we were trying to figure out what we could do to navigate around the world of Zoom because Zoom conferences, they weren't working for us early last year. And so what we did was we went back to the drawing board and we actually wanted to focus on our company and what we can do better and how we can present ourselves in a better way, whether it be through the Zoom or face-to-face when normality takes place again. So what we did, and I would make this a suggestion to anyone, we went back to the basics and decided to educate ourselves and take education courses. And instead of doing the traditional corporation conferences on Zoom, we decided to look for programs that would allow us to kind of take an inner look at what our business, what we do well, a little in-depth, things like that. And so those kind of programs, like the CVMSDC offers the Educational Leadership Program over at the University of Richmond. And, programs that's not going to take just 1 hour out of your time. I'm talking about programs that take 6 hours. You meet once a week and you have a team of cohorts. You have an executive or someone from a corporation to mentor you. And so we were fortunate when we did that and pivot and we found a few programs because they're out there. We found one program that allowed us to actually take on a mentor. And so 150 companies applied. We were selected. They selected 7 of them. We were one of the 7. And so we were very fortunate. Once we got our mentor was actually the CEO of the Southeast region of a Fortune 100 company. And so as he was reviewing our docs and he was reviewing all of our information, he said, well, let me hear your pitch, the pitch you use for the program and the pitch you use to get business. And because we were educated, we kind of went back to the drawing board through those classes. Those classes had us prepared and ready. Once he saw the pitch was just so he can hear what we were doing, for mentorship purposes. After the pitch, he said, you guys have something that I really need at this present moment. And you take care of everything like you're supposed to take care of everything. You do business with integrity, all of these different things. And once we did that, he actually opened up 17 sites within the state for us to staff. Not only did he open up those 17 sites, he actually introduced us to 9 of his partners, nine of his other contractors and businesses. And we're locking down a contract this Friday, actually, with one of the biggest construction companies in the state. They build schools, they remodel the schools for 5 different school districts. And so we'll be the premier staffing company for those particular projects. And so I'll say all that to say, when you hear the word pivot or when you hear, hey, you got to change something, just a different way of thinking is educate yourself, take yourself back to the drawing board, kind of look over what you do well and increase that. And so one avenue that will help is to find a program that will assign you with like-minded or executive high-level thinking people. And so when we get back to normality, relationships and partnerships are built. But in the meantime, that'll help you be prepared for that. So that's kind of what I wanted to just share. And I shared with Vince yesterday was that, our company in this situation, because of the program and the pivot that we made, it really has done something tremendous for our company. So we're talking right now, we just went from small company to now managing 20 to 25 sites in the state. So, yep, that's all. Thanks for your time, everyone.
Kip, thank you. That was excellent. And that's not only good news, but that's very exciting news. And it also allowed other MBEs to hear a different approach on pivoting. And as you suggested, education is the key. While you're sitting idle in some areas, utilize that extra time and look at other areas and build relationships so you can move forward. Thanks, Kip. Were we able to reconnect with Dallas Dance and the dance group, the DD dance group?
Hi, Vincent. Yeah, I'm here, and Marjolette's going to help me out on the technology front.
Okay.
So can we go ahead and go now? Are we good to go now, Vincent?
Yes, the presentation is up.
Perfect. Thank you, Marjolette. And apologize again this morning for the technical difficulties. You would think that probably a year into this, we should be pretty proficient in this one. But thanks for the opportunity to be here today. And Vincent and Jeff, thanks for your leadership. And for Dominique and Marjolette, thank you. I always tell people that me and my team, and no, at least for me, I have the best job in the world. I have the best job because one of the realities is that through the work of the D-Dance group, our work around leadership and strategy truly helps people make life better for themselves and for others, because at the essence of that is problem solving. And so the D-Dance group was created in 2012. We went full-time in 2017, and we've had a phenomenal journey over the last 3 years, and we're really looking forward to 2021. So we appreciate this spotlight. Next slide, Marjolette. So the good thing about the D-Dance group, again, we think about the work that we do. We recognize the fact that we are a team of accomplished leaders and practitioners. So we have about 4 full-time individuals. We have over 40 part-time consultants for various projects. But with 150 years of experience, this is our approach to every client or every problem-based thing that comes to us is 3 things. One, at the end of the day, it's all about results. If you are in a professional relationship or a personal relationship, regardless, it's about results. And so in order for results to happen, 2 things must take place. Leadership has to take place, and this is self-leadership, leadership with others. And so that's the people side of what we do. I'm an optimist. I'm one of those crazy people who believes that every single problem has a solution. And let me put the caveat out there. We have to want the solution in order for us to be able to solve the problem. Many times we don't want to solve the problem, but if we really want to solve it, then through leadership and through strategy, results are given. So leadership obviously being people, strategy obviously being our approach. Next slide, Marjolette. If we think about the people lens, and our full-time partners, all of us are certified leadership developers, certified executive coaches, and certified strategic planners, and contribute to the various organizations that we are certified with for this work. So at the end of the day, every organization has 80% of its budget at least on its people. But research will tell us that that's the smallest line item in 50% of companies' budgets in terms of developing those people. But with our salaries and our benefits, they're 80% of our organization budgets. So what the D-Dance group will do is we will take care of all of the recruiting and the selecting of talent through executive searches, which we've done over 30 in our 3 years of going full time. Through our talent acquisition, which we've done over 75 in our 3 years of full time. But bottom line is, to recruit and select talent, you need support in order to be able to do so, and we provide that. But getting talent is easy. The hard part comes into the onboarding and keeping those folks. So when we onboard with our clients, we really talk about the process management part by which people stay in jobs. People stay in jobs, obviously, because things are, they're very much ordered, they're structured, people know who they can go to, they know where their support is. But the onboarding, if you talk to the average person who loses a job in the first 3 years, they talk about the fact that they did not feel like they were a part of the company when the company first started. So onboarding support, but our bread and butter really is the developing, coaching, and supporting current talent. There are a lot of companies right now who recognize post-COVID, the current talent they have, they've got to retrain them in order to really adjust to what they see post-COVID. All of the developing, coaching, supporting we provide, again, executive coaching we do a lot of, but what we've done over the last year, which I'm really excited about, is we pushed our partners and our clients to think about the self-care support that needs to go to their staff. Individuals who are leaving jobs in the COVID pandemic are really leaving because of lack of support, or they feel like they're not getting something professionally or personally. We provide that. And last but not least, the performance monitoring. At the end of the day, yes, we want our people to be happy. We want our culture to be aligned and met with goals. But at the end of the day, we have to be meeting goals. And so through our research and evaluation work that we do, we can monitor all your key performance indicators and figure out where adjustments need to be made in order for the work to really happen in terms of goal attainment. Next slide, Marjola. So this gets to the bread and butter also after the executive coaching is the strategy. So bottom line is, whether it's a personal or, again, a professional situation, our job is to figure out three main things. And through our clients, we take you through a process to where it's frustrating, but it's so liberating because we're working on what matters and we're not focusing on what not. So the three questions of strategic planning really is, what is it that I want to do? Very few organizations or people, because our clients are individuals and organizations, know this piece. Through our process of engagement, we're going to take you through assessing and organizing and looking at your current reality scan. A lot of folks are looking at a reality that was pre-COVID, and now they have a new reality. So that current reality scan is important to engage you and figure out what is it that you're really trying to do. But the second part of that is, how might you go about doing it? That's the focusing part around the strategic design and the strategic planning. So now that I know what I'm trying to get done, now I will figure out strategically, what do I do? Again, what's important versus what's not important, so we can structure and focus our time. And last but not least, we have to figure out, how do we know when we've done it well? Through the execution of the strategic implementation and the monitoring, our job is to figure out, and many of our partners have asked us to go on the ground with them to implement, so they're not doing this alone, and we absolutely do that. Our largest client is roughly about 550 employees, and our smallest client literally is an individual of him or herself, because we have both. Next slide, Marjola. At the end of the day, we built a practice that we believe is beneficial to our customers, because everyone has problems. Everyone is looking for a solution to their problem, again, personal or professional. And so when we ask our clients, what tell us about us, what would you recommend? And we always say this to them, would you recommend us based on our experience? 93% of our clients, and this is over 50 clients who've been surveyed, has said that yes, they would recommend us to someone else for the work that we're doing. And currently right now, we're servicing about 75 clients in 8 states. And hopefully I can make that by the end of the day, 76 with a call that we have at 2 o'clock. And that will move us to 76 in 9 states. If you see our industries that we serve, really industry agnostic. The problem, and I should say the industry is not important. The reality is we have to fully understand what the problem is. Do we know what our biggest goal and our toughest challenge is? And usually when we ask that question, individuals don't really think through what their biggest goal is. They think about what their biggest goal is for the quarter or for the year. But we're talking about your biggest goal. When you started that company, what was the biggest goal you were looking to accomplish? As you're going through the starting of that company, what's the biggest challenge you're finding yourself in? Bottom line is, we can accomplish this and solve for it through people and through strategy. And the last slide, Marjola. And this is how you get in touch with us here at the D-Dance Group. We just most recently moved offices. We have offices here, which is headquartered in Richmond, because that's where I am. But we also have offices in Houston, Austin, and we're about to open up an office in Atlanta right now. But obviously, with home being in Virginia, our job is to make sure that as Virginia transitions and as companies transition to the world we're going to be in post-COVID, that we're able to provide the appropriate leadership and strategy consultation to make sure that you accomplish your biggest goals and solve for your toughest challenges. So with that, again, thank you, Vincent, for the opportunity, and to CVMSDC. It's exciting to be in this group and to share best practices and to learn best practices so we can help and improve each other's in the work we're doing. So that's it.
All right. Thank you, Dallas.
Thank you all.
Kipling, great job, guys. Jeff, back to you to share a little about our ring business.
Vincent, thank you. Dallas, thank you for your presentation. It was a great presentation. Kipling, I am happy for you and excited for you, man. That was a great win for you. One of the things we're trying to do here in the Virginia Ring is to, as Vincent has talked about, and Kipling referenced is to be able to pivot. We want to be intentional in some of the meetings that we have, so we try not to have meetings to have meetings. Our hope is that based on the excitement that we've received from Centera, we can grow this ring so that we can continue to be successful. So my ask would be, after this meeting, if there are other corporate partners that we need to get in contact with to allow you all, the MBEs, access, please share that with us. My email address is jsmith@vbgov.com. Presently, we have 4 other ring events that we're planning for the remainder of the year. One in June, September, and in the fall, 2 in the fall. But obviously, we're willing to change those dates based on the response we receive from you all. I can't go without saying thank you for Dana Bechter for participating on the call as well. Dana, thank you. Speaks to your support of our organization as well as what we're trying to do for supplier diversity. I won't belabor this. Again, listed the 4 dates that we have, what we're trying to accomplish here with the Virginia Ring. Welcome your feedback, and thank you. I'll turn it back over to, I think it's Vincent again. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. I would like to remind everyone that April 13th and 14th will be the 2 days set aside for our annual meeting and Pro Forum. It is free and it is all virtual. Do we have LaSonia Berry on the call, who's our MBEIC chair, to covers all 3 states and all districts and rings? Is LaSonia on? All right. So please go to the CVMSDC calendar and you can see other ring meetings throughout the 3 states. You're able to tap in at any of those meetings just to see what's going on in other states, and also keep up with current events with the CVMSDC. So mark your calendars for April for the annual meeting and the Pro Forum. And I want to turn it now over to Larry Jones, but before I do that, I would like to thank all of those MBEs that's out there. And I tell you, Dallas and also Kip have shared some wonderful nuggets for us to look at in terms of the pivoting process. So one thing I wanted to share, I think they did a good job. I was able to share the quality moving services. I did 2 things. I needed to draw up some business. So I contacted, I think 5 hospitals in the Virginia area to offer free services to deliver beds and oxygen and whatever emergency equipment that needed to go from one hospital to the next. And so a person said, well, how can you do that? Well, for us, it was a twofold. It was 1, to help save lives, and 2 is to build a relationship with those hospitals and healthcare centers. So when things got back to normal, who do you think they may consider for a contract or for continuous work? That was the way, one area we were able to pivot in. And I just wanted to share that. So we'll turn it over to Larry Jones, who is our Virginia Corporate Services person, director. Larry, take it away.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Vincent. I'm Larry Jones, the Director of Corporate Services. And before I get started, I want to say that Centera, thank you so much for your participation. Michelle, great presentation. And Dana, thank you as well for backup support. Also with Dr. Dance, your testimonial, along with Kipling, great information. Like always, I know we mentioned about as far as trying to increase our numbers, and I think under the leadership of Jeff Smith, our ring chair, they put this together. Jeff Smith, our ring chair, Vincent Tucker, our MBEIC chair, and Margolette, the Director of Corporate Service. So thank you very much. There's a lot to go on behind the scenes, and this was pretty good. And we'd like to continue to increase these numbers. What I have right here, a couple of our new corporate partners. We have Smithfield Foods. I'm not sure if Steve Evans is online. And also Christa Ray High School of Richmond, Virginia, Dr. McCourt. I'm not sure if you're on the line, but if you are, welcome to our ring. Welcome to our family. some of my notes here, we're always talking about to increase corporate ring engagement. If you notice already, this is important right here, and I'm going to patent this logo, but I always say that, the golden rule is not what you know, it's who you know. With a platinum rule, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So if you can picture, we're in one big boardroom with, I guess, like 6 or 7 of us, and this is a great time to exchange information, ideas, to network, and still to get to know each other. And we're hoping that going forward, we would like to expand it, like Jeff already told us, to expand it even bigger as far as our ring go, a lot of connections with our corporate partners and as well as our MBEs. Now, as far as the MBEs, you may have already received the email or memo from Kelly Downing today at 1 o'clock with the Tidewater Garden Redevelopment MWBE Virtual Vendor Fair. I'm going to be part of that panel, going to be facilitating as well. A lot of great opportunities, a lot of good projects that are going on. And it's funny how, on that meeting right there, one thing I tell them that is that, you want to be MBE certified. And they talked about that as well, too, the benefits of being certified, when it comes to the table, because some of these big projects that are going on, a lot of companies want you to be certified, whether it's MBE or SWAM or whatever certification you may have. That's really all I have. I'll see if Greg, are you there, Greg? Anything to say, Greg?
Yeah, no, thank you, Larry. Yes.
Sure.
No, I think you pretty much covered it all. I think with the only other point that I would make is that we do appreciate one of the thoughts being that we want to increase corporate participation in these rings. If you know of corporations that we should be connecting with, and you know that whether they're interested or not, we'd love to get that information, and we'll reach out to them. So thank you for what you all have already done, and anything more that you can provide us would be fantastic. We appreciate it. That's it.
At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Marjorie Brown.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, you got it.
Thank you, Larry. So just wanted to let you know that we do have 3 new MBEs. So I believe some of them, actually all 3 of them may be on this call. We have Blackwater Network Security. They're actually in Hampton, Virginia. And as you know, they do network security. And then we have Patriot Freight Brokerage. They are actually in Chesapeake, Virginia. And Carol Reese, who's in Glen Allen, Virginia. So we just want to welcome our new MBEs. We like to let you know that we are growing. We have more coming down the pipeline. COVID has actually helped us to increase our membership because, as you know, the value is networking and building relationships with our corporate partners for opportunities for contracts. But before I go on to the next person, I just want to make sure I see that Satrina Benj and Debbie Hillary Pettigrew are both on the line and wanted to know if they had any things they want to tell you about the upcoming event that Vincent spoke about, our AMP event.
Hi, Marjorie. Thank you. And good morning, early afternoon to everybody. So we are once again during our AMP that's coming up in April, our silent auction. And the ask is that we're looking for rings to donate items that we can include in our silent auction this year to assist in supporting our goal of developing and supporting our MBEs. So some of there was a letter that Dominique did send out, I believe it was last week, to the ring leadership. And I sent out an additional letter yesterday to kind of piggyback. And so some of the ideas that for donations that we are focusing on maybe, for example, business coaching, maybe website design and lunch with leaders, gift certificate, gift cards, marketing services. It might be branded logo items that your business or that's what your industry is. So we're looking for items to be donated at a ring level so that we can auction those off for our silent auction. The deadline to submit any items would be March the 25th. I will put my information in the chat box. And so some of the things that I would need would be the actual description, the value, and I'm trying to think, the description, the value, and any images or pictures that you may have. It is a competition between the rings this year. MLP has already started, so we need the Virginia ring to get on board. And so the winner, the ring that wins will receive not only lunch supply from CVMSDC, details to follow, but also bragging rights. So again, I will put my information in the chat. The deadline to submit any items for your ring is on March the 25th. And I believe that is all that I have, Margaret. Thank you.
Debbie, did you have anything you wanted to add before we move on?
Just quickly, Marjola, thank you so much. It is very encouraging to see this many folks on a ring meeting, on a ring call. So kudos to the leadership of the Virginia Ring. You guys, if there was a competition for the most people on the ring call, y'all would win it. But let's talk about the competition that we do have that's associated with AMP 21. And I want everybody to get amped up about AMP 21 because this is the first time that we have a conference that is free of charge to our MBE. So if you're an MBE on this call, whether you're certified or not, go over to our website and sign up for this conference. This is the first time that we have this free for MBEs. The competition for the rings outside of our auction is also to bring in at least 20 MBEs per ring, register 20. So Virginia, y'all already got 40 some odd people on the call today. Y'all should win hands down, right? So get everybody who's on this call registered for AMP 21. Make sure that you're registered, signed up for the newsletter so you can stay in touch with us and we can stay in touch with you with grant opportunities and other things. So thank you so much, Marjolette. Everybody registered today. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we do have about 5 minutes left on the call. Again, we want to be cognizant of everybody's time, but we want to open up the floor for any comments, suggestions, and questions, especially hearing from our MBEs if you're new. Any questions, comments, suggestions?
Oh, I have a comment. Hey, this is Mike, Beautifully Warm. As you guys know, with the PPP program, it ends March 31st. I hope any of you that are up here that had a company with less than 20 people apply during that window between February 24th and March 9th. During that period, they say it was set up to fast track minority-owned businesses as well as small businesses to get your PPP loan. And if you didn't qualify the first time, the Biden administration made the change so you could put your net income on the PPP. So I know a few companies that didn't qualify, but with that adjustment that they made, they now qualify for the PPP. So if you were discouraged because it didn't work out the first time, please take your chance to get the help that you may need at this point. So the window from February 24th to March 9th is over, but you still can apply until March 31st. So go after it. It took like 10 minutes to apply.
Hey, Mike.
Spot for that.
I'm sorry.
Hey, what was your question?
No, I'm sorry. I was
with Syndev LLC. I was just wondering if there a governing body in which you apply for your PPP, or you just go to your local bank.
You could go to your local bank, and I would recommend whoever you currently have a banking relationship with. But if not, the NMSDC they have a consortium fund. I believe I'm saying that wrong, but the bank that I went with was the First Lake National Bank. It's another Black-owned bank. They have a streamlined process. And another entity that you can also go with is Blue Vine. They also have a very streamlined process. So if it does not work out with one bank, or they're asking for documentation that you may not have, each bank kind of has their own requirements. So you can apply with multiple banks. But I specifically went with First Lake. I need to look up the bank. First Lake Bank, because they are a Black-owned bank, and since I know the government is trying to make efforts to prove how they're assisting the African-American community, that they're one of the banks that will probably get fast-tracked.
Awesome. So if you can put that in the chat, or Margolette, if you can get that information, I would love to have that. Appreciate that information.
I
Yeah,
will make
sure.
sure everyone gets it.
Thank you.
Hey, Margolette?
Yes,
Can you
Larry.
hear me? Hey, one more thing too, if you didn't see it, Debbie put it in the chat already, but the event that she's talked about, the AMP 21, it's free for MBEs. Just so you know, it's free, okay? Just want to put that out there for those on the call. Back to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Larry. Are there any other questions from any MBEs? Any questions, concerns you want to add to? We have about 2 or 3 minutes left. The floor is yours.
This is Marjorie. I just want to say I will be making sure everyone on the call has a link for, there's a Richmond casino that they're opening up. Of course, I'm sure they're going to be needing everything. So I'm going to be sending out that link to and make sure everybody has that for any opportunities there.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Michael Khalil. I'm with a company called Lancaster Packaging, which is a female minority-owned company based up in Massachusetts, where I'm originally from. So I'm new to this group. We're part of the Greater New England Council up north. But I just want to say hi and introduce myself and thank Larry Jones for giving me all the time the other day to speak to me about all the different offerings here and got me on the schedule to attend this meeting. So thank you, Larry, for that. And I'll put my information in the chat room. Hopefully we could do a bigger presentation. My company is a wholesale distributor of specialty packaging, all kinds of industrial supplies, Jansan products, and PPE. So again, based up in Massachusetts, but I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. I moved my family down here almost a couple years ago. So I'm happy to be part of the Southeast region, and we just joined this council recently. So hopefully we'll be able to collaborate with some of you guys down the road. And thanks again, Larry.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael, for joining us. Thank you. We're trying to get rid of that cold weather, so you didn't bring any with you, did you?
No, I left it up there for a reason. So.
All right, good deal.
Yeah.
Are there anyone else on the call? MBEs?
Hey there, I'd like to take sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Hello, my name is Jay Adams. I'm the business development manager with a company called BSI Solutions. So we're based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. We're primarily a software company, but we also offer IT staffing services and healthcare staffing services. So we do direct hire, staff augmentation, contract staffing as well. One of our clients is Atrium Healthcare. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them up there in the Virginia area, but yeah, we're just wanted to hop on here and introduce myself, and this is my first time to the call. I'm very excited about the opportunities and the partnerships that are in place and what may come from the call. So I just want to take a second to do that as well. So thank you very much. It was very, very, very insightful.
All right, thanks for joining us. It's right now at the top of the hour. Do you have any last minute comments, Margolette or Jeff, before we exit?
None for Margolette, I'm good.
Thank you to everyone that participated, and Vincent, thank you as well for your support.
And I would like to
thank you.
Sorry. I want to give a shout out to all the corporations that came on the line today. Thank you for your support. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be making the progress and we wouldn't have work for MBEs. Thank you for, I mean, it's just so many that's covered the state, so I don't want to start naming them. But check our calendar and you will continue to get information from the Virginia Ring for upcoming events and opportunities. I would like to, again, thank everyone for coming out today. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy, be safe.
Okay.